This is NBK, nothing but Knicks. When send past the assist, you know that it's number one show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock, who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Post-game reviews, this the place you tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Knicks.
Knicks family, what's poppin'? It's your boy. Ladies and gentlemen, here we are. It's not game time yet, but it's almost game time. The Knicks will be hosting the Indiana Pacers at 8 p.m. on TNT, ladies and gentlemen, in the Eastern Conference Finals. What can we say? Kevin, you said it best right there. One possession, one quarter at a time. One possession at a time. We're going to take it easy to win this series. Not take it easy. We're going to play hard. But we're not going to project or overlook. We're going to take it one single possession at a time. Ladies and gentlemen, the New York Knicks are the 3rd seed. The Indiana Pacers are the 4th seed. And, I mean, when you look across, when you look at the Eastern Conference Finals, the Western Conference Finals, you know, Minnesota's the 6th seed. OKC is the number 1 seed. The only number 1 seed left in the entire playoffs, and they're good. I mean, last night, I watched the game last night, and Minnesota it looked like they had a chance to win the game, but OKC decided it's over, and they took over the basketball game. I'm not sure if Minnesota has a chance in that series, to be honest with you. But we're not talking about that series. We're talking about the New York Knicks versus the Indiana Pacers, an age-old rivalry, ladies and gentlemen. These two teams have been going at it in the Eastern Conference Finals for years. Obviously, the Knicks haven't been there in years, but, you know, back in the late 90s, 2000s, the Knicks and the Pacers were fierce rivals in the playoffs. I mean, so many memories between the Knicks and the Pacers in the playoffs. Reggie Miller scoring 10 points in 8 minutes or whatever it was to beat the Knicks in the Garden and giving a choke sign to Spike Lee. John Starks headbutting Reggie Miller in the head. Patrick Ewing blowing a layup. Just memories upon memories against these two basketball teams or franchises. Memories upon memories. You know, it's painful. It would be painful to lose to the Pacers, ladies and gentlemen. We can't do that. And now there's a new rivalry born between these two teams. Tyrese Halliburton and Jalen Brunson. You know? And these teams have, you know, some ties with Obi Toppin being traded to the Indiana Pacers. And Obi Toppin, I mean, you know, the Knicks took Obi Toppin instead of Tyrese Halliburton. When you think about it. The Indiana Pacers beat the Knicks last year in the playoffs. In the second round, the Knicks up 3-1 and lose to the Indiana Pacers. Of course, there was a rash of injuries for the New York Knicks. Julius Randle was already out. OG ended up going out after dropping 30-something points to help put the Pacers down 3-1. OG goes out. Jalen Brunson eventually goes out. Josh Hart goes out. So the Knicks were ravished against the Pacers in the playoffs last year. They're healthy right now. As a matter of fact, when we talk about the injury report, ladies and gentlemen, both teams are healthy. So that makes it even better. Makes it even better. No excuses for either team that this person or that person didn't play. It's just player for player, coach for coach. go pound for pound in the Eastern Conference playoffs, in the Eastern Conference finals, not playoffs. No injuries for either team to report, ladies and gentlemen. You always love it when it's that way. You always love it when it's that way. Now, when you look at the storylines, we talked about the history of the two teams. Of course, people are obviously Boston Celtics fans are complaining that the Knicks defeated the Boston Celtics when the Boston Celtics were ravished with injuries. And they really weren't ravished with injuries. Sam Hauser was out. Jason Tatum ended up going out, but the Knicks were going up 3-1 anyway. And then you see what the Knicks did in Game 6. I don't care if Jason Tatum was there. That was going to happen in Game 6. So, I don't want to hear all of that. That was going to happen, bottom line. For the Indiana Pacers, well, they beat the Milwaukee Bucks. Dame was injured. They beat the Cleveland Cavaliers. Several games where a lot of their players, well, at least one game where most of their players were injured, and then other games where other key players were injured. So if you want to say both teams made it there because players were injured, say that. But I can tell you what, the New York Knicks didn't get there. The Knicks flat out, thank you, Kevin. The Knicks flat out beat both teams. The Pistons, who might even have challenged us more than the Celtics, to be honest with you. They flat out beat the Pistons, and they flat out beat the Celtics. I don't care what nobody says. You can say whatever you want to say about Jason Tatum being hurt, and I hate the fact that he got hurt. You don't want to see players go down. But the Knicks beat both of those basketball teams. I don't care what you think or what you want to say. The Knicks took out both teams. They were supposed to beat the Detroit Pistons, and the Pistons gave us a run for our money. I might say that the Pistons might have beat the Boston Celtics too. Or it would have went to Game 7 with the way they played defense. And then the Celtics just, the Knicks took them apart, to be honest with you. The games were close. The Knicks had to come back from down double digits. But by Game 6, the Knicks destroyed them in Game 6, obviously. And I know, Tatum wasn't there, but I don't care. The Knicks destroyed them. They would have destroyed them if Tatum was there. The Knicks got to the Eastern Conference Finals legitimately. I think the Knicks had the toughest road to the Eastern Conference Finals, to the conference finals, than any team. The Knicks have had the toughest road. The Pistons, I think the Pistons might have beat the Celtics, and I think they would have beat the Cavs. Maybe even Indiana. The Pistons were tough. But the Knicks had the toughest road to the conference finals. You know what I mean? Which means they're battle-tested. Totally battle-tested in these playoffs. I mean, they've been down 20. It's over the Pacers. The Pacers were down as well. They were. Right? They had to come back from three, at least 19-point deficits to beat the Cavs 3 times. The Knicks did the same thing against the Boston Celtics. So I get it. Understand. Definitely get that. But the Knicks just had a tough road to get there. And they got stronger as the road got tougher. They got better. They got smarter. The coaching has been very good. Very good for the Knicks. The players have responded. I'm going to get it taken care of, though. Now I lost my train of thought. I lost it. So we'll just get to it. Let's start talking about some lineups and some matchups because I lost my train of thought. Dealing with technical issues. Yes, Kevin, the Pacers are a tough team. They're good. They're good. Right, but now my train of thought came back. I thank you for saying that. The Knicks have been battle-tested in these playoffs. I don't know if the Pacers have been battle-tested. Somebody said it the other day in the chat that the Pacers haven't been in a fight. I don't know if they've been in a fight the way that the Knicks have. I mean, the Knicks had to scrap. They had to scrape. They had to battle in every single possession. I'm not sure the Pacers have had to do that. Now, a Pacers fan would say, no, we haven't because we're that good. Right? And, I guess it could be true. We'll find out. It could be true. Right? But they haven't really been battle tested. And I'm not talking about just the scores of the games. I'm talking about really having to get down and dirty and battle and fight and scratch and claw because they haven't played, in my opinion, the caliber of teams that the Knicks have had to play. Now, the Knicks they're used to scrapping and scraping and clawing. And they're going to have to do that against the Pacers too. Because, earlier in the season, the Knicks were playing the type of basketball that, people were like, oh, they're going to have this historic scoring season and things like that. Didn't really turn out that way. Right? And so then the Knicks had to reevaluate themselves and figure out what is the best way that we play. And the best way that the Knicks have played in these playoffs are scrappy, hard-nosed, grinded-out type of basketball team that can have nights where they score, but are going to have nights where maybe they don't score as much. And this is where that defense and that grittiness and that mental toughness has to slow down the Indiana Pacers. Slow them down. And that's going to be a big key in this series. Can the Knicks slow down the Pacers? Somebody's got to set the pace of the game, and it can't be Indiana. It's got to be the Knicks. Because the Knicks, Tom Thibodeau's not going deep into the bench. We know it. And I know people are going to say, he should, and this, that, and the third. I understand it. He's not going to. And this is absolutely necessary. That is who Tom Thibodeau is with this basketball team. And right now we're in the Eastern Conference Finals, so we've got to accept it. But the Pacers want to run. They want to get up and down the floor. And if they can get up and down the floor, then that puts a lot of pressure on the guys, the 7, maybe 8 guys that Tom Thibodeau is going to play. Right? Because now they've got to be able to stay getting up and down the floor with the Indiana Pacers. That's going to be tough to do. So the Knicks got to slow them down. How do you slow them down? And we're already into keys of the game, and we haven't even talked about everything else. How do you slow them down, though? We'll talk about it again later on. You got to rebound the basketball. Right? You got to grab offensive rebounds. If we miss, we cannot let them grab and gobble up rebounds and get off to the races. Got to grab rebounds. Offensive and defensive rebounds. Shoot the ball efficiently. Take smart shots. Good shots. If you take wild shots where people are out of position, then you're giving them the keys to run. You understand what I'm saying? We got to be smart, and that's how we slow them down, by rebounding the basketball, taking our time and getting smart shots. Right? Against the Boston Celtics, we didn't want to play against their half-court defense, so Tom Thibodeau was trying to push the pace. Right? Let's get going. Let's not play against that long, strong defense. The Pacers' defense isn't as good. If we push the pace, then that's going to play into how they want to play basketball. if we push the pace, because that's going to give them more possessions with the basketball. We don't want to give them more possessions because they want a lot of possessions and they want to run. They want to get up and down the floor. So we got to rebound the ball, take care of the ball. We can't turn it over, right? If we turn it over, they're going to run, right? Limit, control, shoot the amount of shots we want to shoot, right? Control the shots per game. Matchup. Slow them down. Let's talk about some lineups. We'll get back to the keys to the game. Let's talk about some lineups. And ladies and gentlemen, you can feel free to call in 516-362-5212. I do want to hear your opinions and your thoughts and what your keys are to this basketball game tonight. All right, because it's bound to be a good one. The biggest game, this is the biggest game for a lot of people, for a lot of Knicks fans. This will be the biggest game they've ever seen the Knicks play. Some Knicks fans. You know, for a lot of us, this is a huge one for the franchise. Let's get into some lineups, though, ladies and gentlemen. Starting for the New York Knicks, we know who it is. Jalen Brunson, Josh Hart, Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby, and Karl Anthony Towns. Starting lineup. This was a team built to beat the Boston Celtics. Mission completed. But this is also a team that can deal with the Indiana Pacers. As a matter of fact, that Boston Celtics series may have set the Knicks up for the Pacers. The same way the Pistons series set the Knicks up for the Celtics may have set the Knicks up for the Pacers. And I think someone said it in the chat the other day too. Right? The way the Celtics can shoot the ball. And we've seen it. We've seen a couple of games where the Celtics shot lights out. Right? Where the Celtics shot the ball lights out. But for the most part, the Knicks were able to limit the way the Celtics could shoot and the scoring of the Celtics. A lot of practice defending against a very good offense. Now, here you go again. The Indiana Pacers, a very good offense. Right, so the Knicks, the Knicks can play that. They got the grind it out aspect of their game, which leads to the defense and being able to play against teams that like to push the pace. And I spelled Halliburton wrong. Excuse me for my mistake. But for the Pacers, at point guard, Tyrese Halliburton, you got Nembhard, you got Naismith, Pascal Siakam, and Miles Turner. And when you look at these lineups, ladies and gentlemen, the Knicks, they match up with each other well. They match up with each other well. Now, are they going to defend each other in that order? No, we're not. They're not. But we're going to talk about how they defend one another or how the Knicks will defend Pacers. Not worried about how the Pacers defend the Knicks until we see it. Then we'll get into that a little bit later on. As we're breaking down these basketball games. You know what I'm saying? But I got a call on the line. See what the call's talking about. Then we'll talk about some matchups. Call you live, man. Name me where you're from, please.
Yeah, this is Kerry Cox or Kerry CC.
Kerry.
From New York City.
What's happening with you, brother? Man, it's nice to hear from you.
Yes, I know, man. It's been a minute.
Yes, sir. What's your thoughts on the
show.
series, baby? What's up?
It's a tall task, a tall order.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead and let Halliburton get his. Let him score his 30.
Okay.
Lock up Siakam, Naismith, and Nembhard. And you got to put pressure on McConnell. I think that will do it.
Okay.
That would do it. I mean, because these guys can score buckets quickly in bunches.
Right.
And you can't have them get a momentum. if they up by 6, all of a sudden they drop a 3, they up by 9. We got to go drop a 3 and then grab some offensive rebounds and do it. The unforeseen thing is their center. What's their center's name again?
Miles Turner.
Yes. He scares me.
Why so?
Because I know Mitch has his challenges with him. And if Mitch has challenges, certainly Towns will have his biggest challenges.
And see, the issue...
Let Obi do his between the legs dunk on a fast break. I don't care. It's the other guys I'm talking about.
Miles Turner, the thing with Miles Turner that, we've got to watch for is he can shoot the 3 as well, right? He shoots a high percentage from the 3-point line. He's not exactly KP, doesn't shoot it, he's not getting it off that fast, but he can shoot it.
So he's effective.
He can shoot it. I mean, this year in the playoffs, he's shooting 45% from the 3-point line.
Wow, I didn't know it was that high.
He's shooting 45% from the 3-point line in the playoffs this year in 10 games. He's taking 4 3-point attempts per game.
How many attempts does he make?
He's taking 4 3-point attempts per game.
That's enough.
Right? And so this is where we can't have the drop coverage that we complained about all season long and that we saw against the Boston Celtics early in the season. And we saw in a game or two in the playoffs. Cannot have it. Right? Cat cannot do the drop coverage thing because Turner will knock down the 3. Now, okay, so it's not if Turner's setting the screen, depending on how the Knicks do the pick and pop or the pick and roll, right? You're not going to you can't leave Turner open now because you can, let's say it's Tyrese Halliburton running the pick and pop with Miles Turner, right? If Karl Anthony Towns is guarding Turner and Mikal Bridges is guarding Tyrese Halliburton, right? And you get a switch. Now you got Karl Anthony Towns stuck on Tyrese Halliburton. How's that going to work, right? And then, Mikal Bridges on Miles Turner on the perimeter, I'm not too concerned about. Right. But then it's that switch where you have, Tyrese Halliburton now being guarded by Karl Anthony Towns. And of course, he's a gifted scorer and passer. Right. So that's definitely something to be concerned about because you can't leave either one of those guys open from the 3-point line.
Right.
But yeah, he's shooting 45%.
That's valid. That's valid.
4 3-point attempts per game.
So you have to limit. You're not going to shut these guys out. Nembhard and Naismith, they can't get more than, 15, 18 points a game?
Well, okay, so Nembhard right now is averaging in the playoffs, he's giving you 14 points a game. 14.6. This is what he's averaging.
It's an important 14.
It's an important 14. And, he's giving you 50% shooting from the 3-point line and 50% shooting from the field.
Right.
In the playoffs so far. Right. Naismith, so far in these playoffs, he's giving you 14.6 points per game. He's shooting 52% from the field. He's shooting 58% from the 3-point line.
But either one of them get hot and they'll drop 20, 25 on you.
I mean, they have wings. They have wings that can score the basketball.
I mean, even Obi can give you 10 to 15 on a really good night. He doesn't play defense, but if he outplays you on the offensive side, he's effective.
Right. Yeah, I mean, you know,
Um,
and so now this boils down to our defensive matchups and who's going to guard who. The thing is, I do feel that we are geared to be able to defend these guys. The one guy you might
oh,
worry about is Jalen Brunson, right? But Bridges will
well,
likely be on Halliburton. Josh Hart on Naismith, and Anobi on Siakam. Karl Anthony Towns on Miles Turner.
that's ugly there. That's ugly.
Who
That's ugly.
who Anunoby on Siakam?
And then OG plays great defense. He's just not big enough.
Yeah, that's the only guy we
At
got.
least, or at least you can't let Siakam get in the post.
Mm.
Once he gets in the post, he's scoring over OG.
We don't have anybody else to guard him there in that starting lineup,
So, hence,
unless.
I'm glad you said that. You get Precious Achua.
Okay.
I don't care if Precious scores 2 points.
Mm-hmm.
Beat him up. Beat him up.
Hmm.
Send him to the line. Beat him up. I don't know. I think Indiana and New York are very equal.
Okay.
I mean, Indiana has great 3-point shooters. We have decent 3-point shooters, but we got grit. So how do you shut that down? How do you negate it? So you got to put Precious Achua in there. Let him shine. Let him shine.
Let's hope.
So he give you 4 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 fouls, and he only played 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
But I bet he'll beat the heck up out of Siakam. So now OG can come back in and be really more effective. I'm not worried about. Now I know that's incorrect. Towns. My whole thing with Towns is his slow feet, his defense.
Yeah.
Although he tries, he's just got slow feet. Mitch is my all-time favorite defensive guy. I mean, did you not see that play where he stole the ball from Jaylen Brown?
I did.
He defended all 4 guys and then ran to the corner and beat up Brown and took the ball from him. That was impressive.
Yeah. Monster play. And listen, Mitch is going to be needed. He's going to be needed. We talk about slowing. Kerry, I appreciate your time, man. I know we got a few other people that want to try to get on before the game starts. All right. Hopefully I'll talk to you after the game.
Yeah. We're going to speak again.
All right.
Those are my wishes. That's all I want to say.
Appreciate you, bro. Appreciate you. Looking at the matchups, Bridges and Halliburton, probably Brunson and Nembhard, Josh Hart and Naismith, OG and Pascal Siakam, Karl Anthony Towns and Miles Turner. I think OG can do a good job with Pascal Siakam. As a matter of fact, I think we got to worry about Pascal guarding OG. OG may be able to do some things against Pascal. Pascal's a decent defender. Right? But look, these guys, they know a little bit about each other. I'm concerned about Brunson and maybe Brunson on Nembhard if that's what the matchup is. I'm concerned about that. That would likely be the matchup. Right? But obviously, you got to worry about, we'll see who's going to be guarding Brunson. It could be Halliburton. You don't want to get fouls on Halliburton, so maybe it's not going to be Halliburton. So either Nembhard or Naismith will be on Brunson. We'll see the way it goes when they get out there on the floor. You know what I'm saying? I seen in the chat, I think it was Kevin Bergen. Kevin said Bridges should go at Tyrese Halliburton. By all means, please. We've got to use our matchup we got to use our strengths. And that could be a strength right there. Bridges going at Halliburton. Now, they may try to put Halliburton on a Josh Hart, though, right, to limit his fouls. You know what I mean? Since you have Naismith who can maybe guard Bridges, obviously they're going to want to put one of their best defenders on Jalen Brunson to try to slow Jalen Brunson down and make it tough for Jalen Brunson. The matchups are going to be fun to watch and see how each team decides to match up against each other defensively. You know what I mean? Now, knowing Tom Thibodeau, Tom Thibodeau is going to go as simple as you can, I think. I'm more interested to see how Tom Thibodeau handles the pick and rolls, the pick and pops. Do they switch? That's what I'm interested to see because they have shooters all over the floor. These guys can knock down threes. You know what I mean? And that's got to be a concern. In the playoffs, they're shooting 50% from the field. They're shooting 40.6% from the three-point line, ladies and gentlemen. We don't want to let them get off in that manner. Don't want to let them get off in that manner. And then, of course, there's guys on the bench they have that can shoot the ball, and they're going to go deep in their bench. Right? They got guys that can shoot the ball coming up. Benedict Mathurin, he's not a three-point shooter. He's a defender. Obi, he plays 12 minutes a game per se. He can shoot the three. T.J. McConnell was a gnat. He's going to bother you. You got Thomas Bryant, who's, a rebounder, bruiser type of guy. For the Knicks, for the most part, you got Mitch. You got Deuce coming off the bench. And then, you'll see if is it going to be Campaign, Precious. These other guys are used based on the strategies that the other team is using. Will we see the Hackimich tonight? If I were the Pacers, I would save that for another time. I wouldn't jump off right away with it. We'll see. You know what I'm saying? We'll see. Let me get you another phone call. Mr. Benjamin, what's poppin', man? How you feeling?
It's good. It's good, Sam. How are you, man?
I'm feeling good and excited for the night.
Good. Definitely. Hey, I'm gonna make it quick because I know the game about to pull up soon.
Yeah.
Just 4 quick points. Maybe I could get to you later if you have a after the game show. Maybe I can get in then for a broad picture about the game. But just 4 things I want to see. I'll make a bullet point. I think if we do these 4 things, maybe just 3 of the 4, but definitely the 3. First, I want to see us dominate. I'll be watching for how we doing on the boards.
Mm-hmm.
To me, in this series, we got to control the boards. I think we have an advantage with Mitch and Cat. Indiana, they have some length too, but I expect the Towns and Mitch tandem to kind of control the boards tonight. So that's number 1 I'm looking for. Whoever's guard, second point, whoever Halliburton's guarding, to me, you have to go at him. I'm not saying you have to be wild and out of the offense, but if it's Hart, Hart, you got the size, you got your broad shoulders, you're a strong dude for your size. See if you go at him. Maybe you get a call here and there. Maybe maybe it collapses the defense a little, where you could probably make a correct pass. So whoever's guarding Halliburton got to go at him. And number 3 is I want to see more Precious, man. I know Tibbs gonna do what he's gonna do. It's just what I would like to see. He adds some athleticism off the bench, and I think we need a little bit of that for the series to kind of keep up with the OB lineup and that kind of thing. Help, guard Siakam. I think it would help OG as well. Maybe give him some rest so he's fresh down. Later in the game, you can always put OG back on him. So that's the 3 things I kind of want to see. I forgot what the 4th was, but definitely those 3 I want to kind of see. Definitely the boards, man. I think if we could control the boards, I think we have a good shot at winning this game. I'm not saying we're going to blow them out. I'm sure it'll be tight most of the game, but I think that Mitch Cat lineup, at certain parts of the game, if we could control the boards, it'd be nice to see because, yeah, they want to run out, but if you're controlling the boards, to me, you're controlling the pace of the game.
Exactly.
And while we could score in transition, the Pacers are really good at it. So that's their superpower. If they're going to get they're definitely going to get some transition points. It's going to happen throughout the game, but collectively, if we control the boards, it's hard for me to say they'll beat us game one. I don't know about the rest of the series, but definitely tonight. We got to control the boards. I know Josh Hart will be a big part of that. Bridges got to chip in a little bit. OG got to be collective. Maybe Brunson get in there, maybe get us 3-4 rebounds. That will help. And then we control the pace because I don't see anybody on that team for Cat. I really don't. I know, we was tough on him first series, but he showed up in game 6. And hopefully he kind of channels the energy, man, because, Miles is a good shot blocker. He can get some shots, but I don't see him slowing down Cat at all, unless Cat gets foul trouble, of course. So those 3 things I want to see, Sim. So I'll keep it quick. I'll get off the air, but, game about to come on. So hopefully we come out with a win tonight.
I appreciate you, my man.
Yes, sir.
All right,
Be
talk
good.
to you later. Peace. Real quick, ladies and gentlemen, the game is going to come on soon. The Indiana Pacers average 117.7 points per game. The Knicks 106.8. We got to slow this basketball team down. The Pacers, 41.5 rebounds. The Knicks, 43. We got to control the boards. 29.7 assists per game with the Pacers. The Knicks, 20. Shooting percentages is go down to shooting. Let's talk about turnovers. Both teams about 12, about 13 turnovers per game. 50% shooting for the Pacers, 44 for the Knicks. 40% from 3 for the Pacers, 35.8 for the Knicks. Ladies and gentlemen, we can't let them shoot us out the game. Right? We can't let them shoot us out the game. We've got to slow them down, play smart defense. Size 9 said no helps or double teams. That might, that might be easier said than done, but I think from the beginning of the game, you're right. See what they do first. See what they do, and then go from there. All right, let's talk about some quick keys to the game. You heard a lot of them. Control the boards. That's one way that we slow them down, especially offensive boards. If we miss shots, so we got to grab offensive boards. We don't want to get them out and running. Take smart shots. We don't got to shoot early in the shot clock. Right? We don't want to give them extra possessions because they're shooting so efficiently from the field. Right? Don't give them extra possessions. So we got to take smart shots. Take care of the ball. Again, we're not going to give them extra possessions. We can't turn the ball over because they'll get out running. We got to take care of the basketball. All right? Use your mismatches. We'll have a few mismatches out there. Right? If we have some mismatches, utilize them. Go at Tyrese Halliburton. You got a small guy on Karl Anthony Towns. Take it down into the post and score. Or shoot the 3 over top of him. But use your mismatches. Go at Halliburton. Make that man work. Make him work. And I might even add here, turn him into a scorer. The Pacers are better when he's passing the ball. Tyrese Halliburton in these playoffs is averaging 17.5 points per game, 9.3 assists per game. He shoots the ball efficiently, 47% from the field, 33.8% from 3. That's okay. But he's better when he's passing. The team is better, let's say that, when he's passing. He's going to spread the ball out to those shooters. We got to be ready to close out. Right? We can't let, some people are going to shoot the ball with a hand in their face. You accept it, but you got to be there because if you let them get comfortable, they'll shoot us out the gym. My prediction, ladies and gentlemen, is that the Knicks will win tonight over the Indiana Pacers. Yeah, I'm sorry, Jordan Smith. That's my prediction. The Knicks will win tonight over the Pacers. All right. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I'm up out of here. I will catch you on the post-game show. Be easy. Let's go, Knicks. Let's get this win. Talk to you later. Peace.
This is NBK, nothing but Knicks. When Sim passed the assist, you know that it's #1 show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock, who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Post-game reviews, this the place you tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Nick.